getting research to compare the relative effectiveness of different types of research or different types of treatment, from abstinence-based to harm reduction to medication-assisted treatment, is one of my primary goals moving forward. There's a lot of data that has shown that as long as someone is taking the medication, their death rates go down and they do much better. But my concern is that research also shows that 30 to 70% of patients will stop taking their medication in the first month alone. And we know that a lot of those are then at higher risk of overdose, that they'll go back to using the bags of heroin they were using before, and their body isn't used to it anymore. And so what has truly concerned me is, while there's been a lot of research that shows that while people are taking the medication, I have not seen any comprehensive research that follows up with the whole spectrum of patients, including the patients who stop taking the research or stop taking their medication. And so we have developed, as Vista Research Group, we've developed comparable research for abstinence versus medication-assisted treatment programs. The challenge has been that abstinence-based treatment programs have been willing to invest in doing the research, and we haven't gotten a similar level of interest from medication-assisted treatment programs. I think they're seeing that a lot of patients are coming in, they're being told that, this is the best possible treatment. And for some people, it absolutely is. But for other people, it probably isn't. And if we could do similar level of research for medication-assisted treatment as for abstinence-based treatment, it is foreseeable that in the next couple of years, we would have the data that would say, all right, you have a 25-year-old woman who has been injecting heroin for 6 months. She is more likely to be alive and thriving a year from now if she follows this type of treatment or that type of treatment. That's where we need to get to. And we could get to it in a very short period of time if we could do similar research to directly compare. And right now, my company is entirely self-funded. I've put every penny I had in my retirement income and everything else into creating Vista Research Group, and worked without pay for 4.5 years. I'm finally at the point where I can start to pay myself, which is good, because my husband was about to rebel. But we either need medication-assisted treatment programs to hear from patients that they want to see this type of data too, or we need grant funding or somebody that's willing to fund similar research. And we're working on a number of different avenues to try and get there. But it's just it's a very concerning that we don't have complete research on the long-term effectiveness of medication-assisted treatment.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's a good point, and one that I think, for myself, for sure, I never really thought of it that way. I mean, I've heard the research that it works for most people if you stay, but you're right, if you stay on the medication, it's just when you go off, then what happens? Yeah.
Nobody is following up with, let's just say, half the patients who leave in the first month.
Right.
Nobody is following up. And the other thing that along those lines, I've talked to different medication-assisted treatment programs. Some of them are able to retain a much higher percentage of patients in their treatment than others. Well, that will factor into the effectiveness of the different treatment programs, right? If you can keep a lot more patients in treatment for whatever reason, because of the peer support or because of you provide better therapy or whatever, then you will have much better success rates than one down the street that is just kind of following a different kind of model. And so it's every bit as important that we measure the relative effectiveness of different medication-assisted treatment programs as we do for abstinence-based programs.
No, good point. That's an excellent point. And, I think we need research on every angle of this.